Hello, good morning to our listeners. This is Cynthia Concordia from Dream to Rise. This is our next episode for our podcast. And I'm so truly grateful and honored to have our guest speaker, who is a speaker, really a speaker, a coach, an international best-selling author. For over 20 years, she has taught and trained and impacted thousands of clients around the globe. She co-created with some of the top renowned coaches in all personal development, business, and speaking. She also co-authored Women of the 21st Century, Resilient Women Who Rise and Make a Difference. Wow. And she has this passion for empowering people. And she is the visionary and host of Relevant Honors, Refresh and Emerge conference. These are the conferences, and her signature is Design Her Life Retreat for Women. And her coaching approach stems from understanding the subconscious mind, helping her clients master their season as they break free from their internal challenges and feedback loops that keep most people living a life of mediocrity. And actually, she is a go-to person for women who are ready to make their next season their best season and are ready to say yes to a brand new world of possibilities as they take action on their hopes and dreams that have been on the back burner for years. So they create the life they have always wanted. Actually, the same mission which I have. And she's actually a fun girl who lives, works, and plays in Los Angeles. Wow. Her pride and joy comes from being a wife, Nana. Wow, Nana now, young Nana, and drinking exotic teas and walking on the beach at sunset and traveling. Well, without further ado, I am so excited to introduce to you our guest speaker now, Miss Cheryl Verrett. Cheryl, how are you?
I am awesome, Cynthia. I am so excited to be here. Yes, we have the mission to empower and equip.
Exactly.
And, thank you for reading the bio, all of that. I just get in awe when I hear it. And I'm like, gosh, that is not that Cheryl. But God is awesome. And so I'm honored to be here with you.
It's really an honor to have you. Imagine a well-known speaker around the world who's now here with me. Actually sharing the message that, hey,
Yes.
we have that power and it's up to us to create our own lives. And it's all up to us to take that uncomfortable action. And this is to inspire others. Don't get stuck.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a choice, right, Cynthia?
Exactly.
We have a choice on how we're going to show up. We have a choice on what steps we're going to take. Every day when we open up our eyes and our feet get a chance to just touch that carpet or touch that ground, and we're sitting up, we have the opportunity of what thoughts are we going to think? How are we going to show up? What is it that we want to do today? For me, I wake up and I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I have more breath in my body and I'm able to go forward. What is it that you want me to do today? And so I just ask him to guide my steps, and I am good to empower people.
We have the same thing. When I start my day, once I open my eyes, thank you, Lord, for this opportunity. This is another day for me. I'm alive, and I'm sure you have this plan for me to bless other people as well. And then when I end my day, thank you, Lord, for this wonderful day. Whatever I've gone through, we only have lessons learned and blessings. So it's all for us. It's always a reward for us.
Yes.
Bless, praise God.
Absolutely.
Okay, Cheryl, would you mind sharing your story? Because I would like to hear your story and share with the listeners how were you able to go through that your life experiences that brought you to where you are right now.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So Cynthia, one of the things, I'm glad we started off this show the way that we did, because that's the way that I wake up. And you were able to just share my bio. And it goes over a span of 20 plus years of how I was able to just, some people may say rocking and rolling and making things happen. But it didn't always start that way. See, that Cheryl over there is and the Cheryl that's standing before you today, it wasn't always that way. See, there was a time in my life where, Cynthia, I wanted to stop because I had businesses. Cynthia, we had a real estate, we had a mortgage, we had an escrow. We were receiving awards for just, selling so many houses, the income coming in, being in the 6 and 7 figures. And so when we got to the point in the 2000s, when the stock market, not the stock market, well, I guess you could say the housing market crashed.
Estate, yeah.
Oh my goodness. It really threw us for a loop. So when it began, there were we had 50 staff. Okay. And so then some said, you know what, I have to go back to work. And so they turned in their real estate license, or they put their license on the shelf and they went back to work over here. But how many of us know that the rent, the mortgage on the building still needs to get paid, plus the lights and all the electricity. So my husband and I, we continued on. And so we said, we're going to hold out. We're not going to give up. We're not going to quit. So then months went by, more months went by. People were leaving and going back to work. And we were here in this building, thousands of square feet, trying to figure out, are we going to continue to hold on? So you think that we had started to dip into our savings until our savings, those zeros, went all the way down to a zero. Because we were wanting to invest in ourselves, invest in the people, and just not give up on ourselves, not give up on our dreams. The conversations that we were having in our mind, as far as, but didn't God tell us, and this is who we were created to be? And we put all this work into building this business that was thriving, only to lose it all. And that was crushing. It was devastating. And I remember that there was a moment where I almost wanted to go into this place of depression. And because the voices of not enough, worthiness, you missed it. Did you really hear his voice? It was speaking loud in his ear. And the voice that was telling me that I was on the right path was very low in that moment. And I remember that I began to shrink back, Cynthia. And then I was outside one day with my children, and I had 2 in the home at that time. And my son and my daughter came and they wrapped their arms around me, and we stood outside and we looked up at the stars, and they were twinkling so bright. And they said, "Mommy, is this it? Have we lost everything? Like, what's next?" They saw that I had to turn in the keys to give up my car. They saw that our bank account was zero, and the times that I was able to give to them, I wasn't able to give to them anymore financially. Not in the same way. They saw my broken spirit. And so when they spoke to me and these tears began to well up in all of our eyes, there was a strength in that moment that came that said, no, is this where I want to stay stuck? Is this where I want to remain? Or is there more in store? And I believe that I heard his voice. I believe that what I was doing as far as creating the business and creating income, not just for me, but for my clients, the real estate agents, and giving home ownership, giving dreams to everybody, was what I was called to do. And if he gave it to me one time, then he'll give it to me again. And it was a life lesson. So in that moment, I had to say, okay, what lesson was I learning? How was I going to move forward? And I remembered how he showed up for me back there, and again and again. So if he showed up for me back then and all those other times, why wouldn't he show up for me right now? So I had to stand up and put on my big girl, pull up my big girl pants and say, you know what, you can do this. And I looked into my eyes and I'm like, Irvin, no, this is not it. To my daughter, Katie, said, no, this is not it. We're going to rebuild. And I made a decision. I was going to show my children on how they can move forward in the midst of adversity. That's a lesson that we just don't learn too often. And they got a chance to see me begin to focus, which is the one thing I did, focus on my dream, What is it that I want to create again? How do I want to show up again? What do I want my life to look like again? And then I had to begin to design my life. I had to see it. I had to begin to design it, put the goals together, and then I had to execute it. And so did it happen overnight? It did not. I wish I could say it did. And so often when we have these hardships, we can allow the voices of the naysayers, the voices of what we see from the news in our community just to hinder us and stop us and make us just fall back on our dreams, to remain shipwrecked. But we had to make a decision. I had to make a decision. You have to make a decision if you've ever been there before. And whether it's relationships, whether it's finance, whether it's with a business, that you want more. I want to live a life full of dreams and hopes and possibility, impact, pouring into the lives of others, teaching my children how to create the life that they want, in spite of, along with the bumps in the road that come along. And then, Cynthia, I was able to rebuild my life. I was able to rebuild my income. I was able to rebuild what was most important, you guys, income. Yes, I want it. We all want income. We all want to live the life we want to live. But what was really important for me was my mindset. I had to reclaim my mindset, because those things that I created in my mind, that I was focusing in on, it was affecting my heart and my emotions. And then as a result, it was what I was producing in the world. So I had to pour into my mind, think about what it is that I wanted to have, create it, put the steps together, and then execute it.
So what was when you were with your children, it seems that was the major factor wherein you had to make that shift, no? Because how old were your children during that time?
So my son was 12 and my daughter was 15.
See?
So to me, those are pivotal ages of
Yes.
where they're making life decisions on what life is going to look like for them.
Mhm.
Is it going to be where we just rest, life happens and we fall and we begin to just rest on hopeless street? Or is it that I'm going to teach them that even with bruised knees, we can get up and we can still walk? Even though we get a little dirt on us, we can kind of shake it off and we can continue to move on in life. It was that moment, Cynthia. I'm so glad that you picked up on that, because that now so often we'll stay stuck in ourselves, right? We'll have our own pity party. But when we know that our lives impact other people, and we see, especially our children, and their eyes, Cynthia, when they looked at me, and
I know
the feeling that I felt, the overwhelming emotion of pain, of hurt, of loss. I felt that. I didn't want them to feel that. So it was my duty, my honor, my privilege to do something different so they can see how to pivot in life, to create new beginnings, a new life, the way that they want to live it.
Yes. And isn't it we had a chat before this interview wherein I also shared my story with you. And it was because of my children why I made that shift, because I don't want them to see life as, oh my, it's a dead life. I don't value, wherein they will not value life. But I want them to see life that, hey, life is great. There's so much to enjoy. Life has so many things to offer to you. We know we have a lot of challenges, but we consider these challenges as opportunities to help us build ourselves. And that's what have we become. And now I'm glad that our children values that. And I know your children loves you so much that you showed them how to view life in a different perspective by changing your mindset. You're the model. The parents are the model.
We are, right?
Yes.
And to how to see the beautiful moments in the midst of the dirty, the dirt that's around us, how to sweep it off, how to be grateful for what it is that we have, how to have new lens in our eyes to be able to see. Because if we don't teach them, Cynthia, as parents and those who are listening, if we don't teach the next generations and those around us on how to see past what is before us, how to see our future, how to see what it is that we want, and then they're not going to learn. We have to have those new lens. We have to learn how to clear and remove the distractions from our minds, how to bring in the information to our eyes, how to protect what we're listening to, how to protect and only speak or to speak those things that we want to create, because our words are powerful.
Yes.
What we see, what we create with our thoughts, we're only using 10% of our brain.
Yes.
So we have to, there's a lot left in there. And what if we tapped into more? But it really is based upon the information that we're feeding on. So we have to feed on things that are going to build us up, that are going to take us to another level. And the last thing I was going to say in that point, Cynthia, that people are watching us, our children, our community, those around us in our different organizations, our churches, wherever we are. And whether they say something or not, they know that I lost my business. They know that you may have lost your relationship or your education or whatever it is that you are, and you're in this dire place in life. They may not say anything. They're just walking back and they're just listening and watching. But see, you're going to show them, and we're going to show them how to get up, how to stand up, how to, again, get on our tippy toes and begin to reach and stretch for our dreams that are over there. If we don't teach them, they may not see it. And so I look at my life lesson as a blessing, the good and the bad, because with the night comes the day. Yes. With the hard bumps and bruises, I have such an appreciation of the wonderful, delicious moments in life that I'm able to experience. And I choose to focus in on the good as opposed to what is negative. Because what we focus in on the most, what we give our attention to, is what grows in our life. So I pay attention to what is it that I'm seeding into my soil, because I want to grow a beautiful harvest of something, of a life that I want to create.
Exactly. Now, there was one time I was asked, if you're given again another chance to live again, would you be willing to live that life again? And I don't know.
I was going to say, what did you say?
There were questions which just came up to me, that because I was asked by that a person, and that if you're given another chance to live, will you go through the same process or the same journey? How about you?
Well, Cynthia, can we have the knowledge that we have right now back then? Like hindsight is 2020. There's a part of me that was saying, absolutely not, with the hard parts, right? The bumps in the roads, the bruises, the sandpapered knees, and just the hardships. Because I believe that we've all been through something, and it's in those moments we don't want to repeat it. But at the same time, when I stand here in such strength, not patting myself on the back, but just understanding where I am from all that I've been through, I don't know if I would change it. Yes. Because with that, I have a beautiful marriage. I have a beautiful relationship with my children. I know how to stand. I know how to be independent. I know how to fall and get back up. I know how to lose everything and then recreate everything. Mm-hmm. I know how to trust God. I know how to be able to stand. I know how to see and experience the beauty in life. Mm-hmm. And I just believe if I never experienced any of those things, I don't know if I would be able to stand where I am right now. Yes. And I believe that before I was even created in my mother's womb, that there were plans and purposes for my life. And so we have choices that we have to make. And I just want to make the best choices from this point on and make every day the best day. I don't want to live my life poured out, empty, and then come to the end and have the thoughts of regret. Why didn't I? I didn't live my life to the best of my ability. All those dreams and inventions and books and people that were counting on me were just left waiting because I had the opportunity. I want to take every day.
Yes. So sometimes when other people would always complain to God, why me? Why me? Why would he let me experience this hardship? But then later on, they would realize, actually, when I had a chat or a talk with God, God asked me, why not you? And now I've learned after going through my journey that I'm glad God gave me all this challenges, these struggles, because it really helped me become the person I am right now.
Yes. All the nuggets, everything that you learned, right, Cynthia, as you were coming through, the strength, that's what I'm talking about. The strength that you have once you've gone through something and you're like, wow, I made it to the other side. Yes. You don't realize how strong you are or how big and awesome he is unless you've gone through something and had to go through that trust walk, through that faith walk to get to the other side. Too often we stop in the middle as opposed to keep going forward. One time, Cynthia, we were driving through Louisiana and the rain was coming down so hard. And in the middle of the storm, I just wanted to stop. And I remember telling my husband as my hands were gripping on the steering wheel, baby, I just want to pull over to the side. But I couldn't do that because cars see the lights in the back and they would run into the back of the car. So I had to move forward with a thought, with the knowing that if I kept moving forward, that there was sunshine on the other end. And it was like a blanket wall. So as we kept driving and driving, once I hit this one side and I got to on the other side of the storm, it was clear and beautiful. But what if I stopped in the middle and said, I don't want to go any further? That this is it, it's too much, it's too hard, all the rain is coming down, and think about all of the woe is me. I would never have made it to the other side to witness and experience the sunshine.
Exactly. And that's why we always appreciate Easter, because if there's no lamp, there's no Easter.
Yes.
So what are you now focusing on nowadays in terms of manifestation in your life?
Well, in my life right now, what I am manifesting, believing God for is the fact that I just want to pour into other people. I'm a coach, I'm an author, writing my second book. So I am in the process of that. And then also, I just want to create a business for women who are in their second season of life, where those who feel as if life has passed them by, as if they're broken, but yet they see a vision of their life where they want to just live a life full out with vibrancy and joy and peace, and create this program that they go through, which I have one now, which is called Master Your Season. And they just go through this wonderful journey of rediscovering who they are, reigniting their passion, reigniting their purpose, and being able just to stand and create the life along a roadmap, a blueprint, along with the action steps to design, discover, and deliver the best version of herself, to live a life on fire. And I'm just committed to women, and committed to women, especially in that second half of life, where they're getting ready to retire, getting ready to transition from one business to the next, the empty nesters, where they're just wondering, to those leaders who have been pouring out, and now they're in the season of, okay, now what? My dreams, let me blow off the dust of my dreams and move forward. So
I'm a retiree, and I have colleagues who have retired, and they were telling me, Cynthia, you're already retired. How come you're still working? And then I told them, oh, you should be traveling. We should go out and so on. Yes, I tried that for 3 months. I've been going to the gym and so on, and then hanging out with friends, but there seems to be something missing in my life. So that was the thing. And then they were telling me, what is that missing? And that is the purpose. And I always share with them, I've learned this about the 3 levels of happiness, wherein the first level is when we're in college, or we're happy because we have our car, we have graduated from college and so on. And then the next level of happiness is we're doing or working or doing the job that we want, what we're passionate about. And then the third level is, what is our purpose? What can we do to make an impact? And for that's the real happiness, because that happiness gives you so much meaning in life, so much purpose. And I'm glad that you have started with that program, because a lot of people around, after retiring, they don't know what to do. And for them, okay, I'll focus on taking care of my grandchildren. But I told them, yes, you need to, that's fine, taking care of your grandchildren, but it's also good that you take care of yourself.
Exactly.
The others, they don't want to invest in themselves, but it's nice to invest in yourself, so you'll be able to take care of others as well.
It doesn't have to stop. And the two don't have to be separate. Like, I am honored that people pay me to fly to the other parts of the world to be able to share and pour into their lives. That people fly in and they come so I can coach them, or they're online. And so it's when we reestablish our purpose, and wherever we are, in whatever season that we're in, that's that thing that lights our fire. That says, yes, I want to do more. How am I making an impact? That goes back to that saying from Les Brown that I was sharing. At the end of our life, when we look back, and he was saying that the most richest place on earth is the graveyard, and that's the place where there were unkept dreams and books that weren't written and creations that hadn't been created, so on and so forth. So if we just think about ourselves, we can stop and we can shrink. And there is nothing wrong if you want to spend time with your grandbabies. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there more? And if there is more, are you willing just to step out and say, yes, I want to spend time with my grandbabies, and I want to create this life. I want to spend time with my children, and I want to make a difference in the women or the people around me. Life is so full and so rich. And I just think if we keep moving, so often we stop. We reach a point in life, whatever that point in life is, a retirement, finances, the business. You want to speak on stages, now you've spoken on a stage, and then some people stop. But we don't have to stop once we've achieved that one goal that's on your vision board, that one goal that you've written down. Life is a journey where we just keep growing and learning and growing and expanding, so that that's like getting on the other side of that rainstorm. There's so much more in store, but we'll never know. You'll never know it unless we continue moving forward.
Exactly. I agree with you. And the only time for us to stop is when we're 6 feet underground.
When there is no more breath in our body, that's when we can stop. And I want, you know what, when people attend my homegoing service, my dream is that there will be people from around the world that have been impacted from the mission trips that I've taken, from the orphanages that I've built, from the home ownership that I was able to deliver people's dreams to the foster children that I've found permanent adoptive homes for the churches that I've built, and people have been strong and been able to find their purpose and clarity. Like, people who wanted to commit suicide, who's not committed suicide, people who found their next breath and are living life on fire. Like, I want to make an impact and let that be a result of what it is, how I live my life. It's not just for me, because when we get around people and in certain environments, whether it's a homegoing service or not, people get on fire. Like, there's this energy and excitement that comes, like, I can do more. It's possible. And I just believe that now is the season for us to stand up, and our voice is necessary in this, especially in this season and this time. You are necessary. and that we just cannot quit.
Yes.
We have to speak. We have to go forward.
Especially with what's happening right now. I always
Yes.
tell them that we have that power, despite all the conditions surrounding us, the wars, the COVID and everything, we
Yes.
we can still do something about
Yes.
for our life and the lives of other people. It's us who can create our own lives. It's our choice. So
Yes.
I know you have manifested already your dream and continues to manifest with this one. I'm assuming this is your goal for the next 12 months, the creating a business for the second.
So for the next 12 months, Cynthia, I will be on stages. Every month, I have it already planned out. Every month, I'm on a podcast, I'm on a stage. Every month, I have my coaching clients, my group coaching, where they're coming and I'm pouring into their life. From now to the 12 months, continuing to work with Lisa Nichols, continuing to be the person that I've called to, and just take my income, add another 0 or 2 to the end of that yearly goal. That is what I want. But most of all, I want to live my life poured out. But those are the things that I see that will, that's on my vision board right now. So what I have right now, Cynthia, is some people have what they would say, kind of affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
I have affirmations that are tied into scripture. And so I say, I wake up, I pray, say my scriptures, believe God, ask him to order my steps. And then I begin to say to myself what he says about me. And then I begin to apply his word to my dreams and my plans that I have on that vision board. And that's how I'm able to stay in faith. That's how I'm able to move forward. And that's how I know, as long as I stay in alignment with him and his word, that whatever I believe, that it's going to come to pass because I'm in alignment. And if I miss, I'm okay, because that means if I have a target of 100,000 people and I only hit 99, I'm good. And so next year I'll reset and I'll pivot again and I'll continue on. But it's not quitting, and it's continuing to strive.
Mm-hmm. Because I was about to ask you, what would be since this is your goal, what would be your major roadblock for not achieving this one? But
what would be my roadblock?
Yes.
for not achieving the speaking, or
yes,
for
your goal for the next 12 months.
Well, you know what? My roadblock would be me.
Yeah.
My roadblock would be my mindset and allowing the voices to come in to tell me to stop, you're not worthy, or old histories of perhaps when I was on a stage and I didn't deliver it the way that I wanted to deliver it. And so to remove those old stories and to say, you know what, today's a new day, and I practice, put it together and continue on. And each time I complete a podcast or speaking on a stage, I get stronger and stronger. So it's a personal goal that I have as well. Mm-hmm. And it's just making a difference. And for me, I love the people. So whoever's on the other side of the podcast or in the stage, in the audience, I want to leave an impact. I want to serve them. Mm-hmm. And so that is my give back. So I don't think I can lose with that, Cynthia. No, because that's my passion. That's who I am. And that's what it is that I just want to do for the rest of my life.
And another thing, you're holding on the most powerful, the ultimate God. For him, nothing is impossible.
Impossible, right?
Yes.
And so if you know that, and you continue to say that, and you continue to believe and pour into you good stuff, reading the word of God and other books that are out there, and going to do different trainings and the masterminds and the websites, just never stop learning. Yes. And continuing to grow and strive, and being around other people who are hungry for life, who are like, yes, me too, I'm on my tippy toes, and no longer of this, where they have this double Dutch jumping jacks, but no, I'm gonna jump in. Jump rope, not jumping jacks. I'm gonna jump in.
Yes.
And I'm gonna play full out. I'm gonna be, to the best of my ability, to uncover and remove the lid so all of Cheryl can just show up in the world so people can see that life is possible.
Exactly. And when you mentioned about practice, you know what? I'm really scared whenever I was asked to present in front of the public. And it started when I tried coming up with a training program for admin
Yeah.
staff at the World Bank. And then, oh my, how will I be able to share my my program? And
Yeah.
then I was asked again to do something to present in an onboarding program for newly hired staff at the World Bank. I can't believe that I was able to do eight of that. So it's just really a matter of, hey, I can do it, challenge yourself and practice. It came to a point that I even asked my colleagues, would you mind sparing your 1 hour or 30 minutes just to listen to me? And it's also nice to be surrounded by people who would support you, who believes
You're
in
right.
you.
Right,
Yes.
right.
It
So,
makes
Cynthia, you took one courageous step after the next.
Yeah.
So as you took one step, then you're like, okay, this worked. I've agreed with what is before me. And then now I'm going to go into action in order to make it come about. And so then now you say, okay, how can I make what it is that I'm supposed to do come about? Okay, now this is the action steps. Now I'm going to touch bases with my friends. Will you listen to me? I have already said yes to myself. I'm going to get on the stage, and every time you create, every time that you say yes to yourself, you're saying yes to your dreams. You're saying yes to a life of possibility. You're saying yes to creating that life and living a life that is just full of fire and love and passion and fullness and fulfillment.
Yes, I agree with you. I remembered my supervisor, Cynthia. She knows that I was scared. Don't worry, I can take over. I could do it for you. No.
That's right. That's right.
No. That's why at the end she told me, I truly admire your being courageous in terms of doing it despite your nervousness and everything. But afterwards, after you get used to it, I didn't know that I could come up with a podcast. I didn't know that I was able to write a book.
That's right.
I didn't know that I'm
you don't know until you got squeezed.
Yes.
And then what came out, you're like, oh, this is awesome. This is another side of me that was lying dormant that I didn't even realize was there until there was some pressure that was applied. And I love that, because every person who was afraid to speak, every person in your circle that was looking at you to say, okay, I'll do it for you, and you stood up, they saw a part of your courage. They saw how you stood, and they're like, if Cynthia can, she did it afraid. But let me just say, Cynthia, most of the time people think when we're on stages that we're not afraid, that there are no thoughts that come back. It doesn't matter. I've spoken with the top speakers in the world to those who are just starting, and they all have this sense of butterflies in their stomach, so to speak, of some fashion or form before they get on the stage. So people just don't know that, but it's true. But they're watching you and they're seeing you and they're like, it's possible. It's possible. If Cynthia did it, I can do it. If Cheryl did it, I can do it. And we just believe that you can do it as well. Whatever that dream that is inside of you, that for whomever's listening to us in this podcast, if you have a dream and it's time for you to birth your dream, this is your season. So you have to reignite your passion. You have to focus in on your goals. You have to write them down. And then you have to begin to take those micro steps in order to make it happen and stay in action. You may go back, you may fall, it may not act right, but then you just continue moving forward till you get to the other side. That's what people don't tell you. There's some hiccups in between time, but you just keep going and you will get to the sunshine.
I agree. And every failure is actually a stepping stone to success, because you learn something and apply them for the next one.
Yes.
Oh my, Cheryl, I thank you so much. It was a lot of information, a lot of insights, a lot of encouraging words for our listeners, and I'm sure they would really they found value in this podcast, in this episode. And
Thank you.
I truly appreciate, and it's really an honor to have you here. So would you like to share how they could get in touch with you, Cheryl?
Absolutely. Thank you, Cynthia. So I would love for you guys just to, if you want to have a conversation, you just DM me at Coach Cheryl, my Coach Cheryl. I'm on Facebook at my Coach Cheryl. I'm on Instagram as my Coach Cheryl. Or you can go to my website, Cheryl Verrett. That's V as Victory, ERRETT.com. And just email me at my Coach Cheryl, Coach Cheryl V, excuse me, Coach Cheryl V at gmail.com. And just reach out to me. Like, if you're ready to live a life of your dreams, to live a life on fire, if you feel that you're in this middle of a transition place, listen, I have people who started where they didn't think that they could revive their dreams, revive their passion, and now they're living their best life, the life that they created. If you have women and you're like, I need somebody to motivate them, I need somebody to transform their lives, to get them excited about life again and give them tools, then make sure that you reach out to me, because I have an awesome program, Master Your Season, that just takes you through this awesome journey of rediscovering who you are, to becoming who you want to be and living the life that you want to live.
Yes, I love it. This is
Thank
why
you so much, Cynthia.
I'm so glad I was able to connect with you, because we are aligned in terms of our vision. And the only thing that we want for our listeners, for the other people, is to really live the life they love and be happy. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Cheryl. And it's been a pleasure and an honor really to have you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. It's been a pleasure to be here with you too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So thank you so much to the listeners, and watch out for the next episode. Thank you. This is Cynthia Concordia from Dream to Rise. Bye.